What's going on, guys? Today I've got a quick video for you, 10 tips to help you rank up. Now some of these are very basic tips, but a lot of them can be applied to all ranks. And do just let me know in the comments section if you would like me to go over them in more detail in some more videos. So jumping straight into it, tip number 1 is about hesitation. Now I see a lot of players from Diamond and below, and even some of the higher Diamond players, hesitating quite a lot when going for aerial shots, or just going for shots in general. And now this is something you need to eliminate from your game as soon as you can. When you get to the higher up ranks, I'm in Champ 1, Champ 2 at the moment, and even the slightest second of hesitation, you get people already flying over above you. Aerial shots at the higher ranks do come down to milliseconds about who gets to the ball first. I suggest the best way to get over hesitation, to stop yourself hesitating at the ball, is to play something like either the fun games like Rumble. Drop shot's quite good because the ball goes up quite a bit. But I personally play casual matches. When I was trying to get out of the hesitation period, I'd play casual matches as much as I could, and going up for every single shot. If the ball went in the air, you just go up straight away. First you check your boost obviously, but you go up straight away just to make sure you can get there. And if you can't, you start learning how far back you are before you can't get to the ball, and the different distances you need to learn, the different ranges between you and your opponent to see who'll get to the ball first. This also ties into tip number 2, using the wall. Now this was the comment left in one of my previous videos a few months ago actually that I haven't got around to. Using the wall is such an important feature of the game that so many players in the lower ranks don't utilize. The wall can be used for saving boost, getting an unpredictable shot, or just an unpredictable save. If you're already on the wall while the ball goes up, the opponent's not going to beat you to it unless they're also on the wall. And while I understand that learning wall mechanics as a lower ranked player is quite difficult at first, once you get it down, it does help your game immensely. A scenario that comes up quite often in the lower ranked games, and even in higher ranked games, but higher ranked games know how to deal with it a bit better, the ball comes directly above you while you're in net. I know a lot of players at first just jump straight up and try and get it out of the way, but they're almost always beat to it by the incoming player. Now a way to get around this is to drive up on the back wall and just position yourself to clear the ball easily away from your backline. Tip number 3 is a short one, but it also includes the wall. It's not missing the ball while you're on the wall, and this comes down to understanding your car size and your car type. If you use the Octane, you're going to have a much easier time getting the ball off the wall, because the ball's not going to bounce over you quite as much, whereas if you use a flatter car like the Dominus or the Batmobile, you'll have to make sure you're either positioned properly or about to jump just before making contact with the ball. This ensures that the ball isn't going to cleanly just go straight over the top of you. Tip number 4 is another very short tip, but it's just about getting better accuracy with your shots. The easiest way I know how to do this is by turning ball cam off. By going into car cam, you have complete control over which angle you're hitting the ball at, and which corner or side of the car you're going to hit the ball with and make full contact. If you're in ball cam, your vision can be a bit obscured by the way the ball's coming in, or the way the camera is centered on the ball and not where the car is in regards to the goal. Next up we have map awareness and map control. Now this one does come with experience, but it's all about understanding where your teammates are on the field and where your opponents are on the field. The sooner you can understand this, the better you can get at making plays, making passes, clearing the ball effectively, getting boost when you need to, not getting boost when you need to if your teammate's coming back for it, and general understanding of how the game is going to play out based on each player's position. Something I suggest you can do right now is go into your next match, whether that be doubles or triples, and just make sure you're keeping tabs on your teammates. Understanding where your teammates are allows you to put more pressure on your opponents because you can use them better throughout the game. Whether this be passing upfield or passing back, not sitting on each other in defense, and making sure you're always rotating. If you understand where your teammates are, your positioning will improve much faster. Leading into tip number 6, positioning. Now this one just does come with understanding where your teammates are, but also when you see your teammates in front of you, make sure you're not following up too close to them. You want to be a good distance away from them so you're not too close on their personal space, kind of not getting in the way of their shot, but you're also a viable passing option. At the same time, if your teammates do rotate backwards, you're also always making sure you're applying pressure to the ball. If one of your teammates is doing it, make sure you give them a bit of space, but if no one's doing it, it is your turn. You need to push up, apply pressure to the ball. Every second you're not applying pressure and someone from your team is not applying pressure to this ball, it gives the opponents a lot more time to decide what they want to do, where they want to shoot, and gives them time to set up. Tip 7 is passing. Now I do already have a tutorial on this one, as do a lot of these other tips, if you were looking for some more information on it. But in general, passing is going to improve your gameplay so much. It's going to take you a few ranks up from what you already are if you're not already passing. Generally though, you just want to make sure you're always looking for infield passes, passing towards your opponent or just in front of them so they can run onto the ball there. Otherwise, in the air, you want to put the ball just either off the backboard for a double touch because they're a lot harder to save, or making sure you're always seeing your teammate before you hit the ball. Don't try and hit it into space if you know they're not going for it. This goes with positioning and map awareness. But if you're in communication, that's great. Just make sure you let them know before you go. Do not get angry at your teammate for not connecting to a pass. You could hit the best pass in the world, but if they're not ready, they're not going to be there. Just make sure you're always ready for the pass, always ready to pass the ball if it's an easier shot, and don't get greedy. Remember, your teammates are there to help you, so let them. Tip 8 and tip 9 are kind of a bit combined, so we have recovery and speed. Now these are two things that I have tutorials on as well, so I will definitely link those in the top right hand corner right now for you to jump to those. When it comes to recovery and speed, you'll see players at the top level, the pros, playing at the highest level at Rocket League. They are keeping at max speed almost the entire time, and they do this through a few ways. I mentioned a few of them in the video, but one of the things I left out, I think, was picking up the smaller boost pads. Now this is something I got told to do because I was something I completely disregarded, but it changed my game immensely. Picking up the smaller boost pads and not rotating out to the side to get the bigger ones is going to keep you in the action, giving you more of an impact on the game. Let's say you're playing twos and half the time you're going out to pick up the big boost pads. It's essentially a 2v1 for those 2 seconds, and if you make this decision at the wrong time, you can open up an easy goal for the opponents. Trying to make sure you stay in field as much as you can, making impact on the game and giving a harder time for your opponent to get the ball around you by picking up the smaller boost pads and maintaining your boost that way instead of rotating out, picking up the bigger ones all the time. You're gonna have an easier time defending the goal and making more opportunities to shoot the ball if you're picking up boost pads along the way instead of rotating out. And the rest of the tips with these two will be linked in the 2 videos that would have shown up in the top right hand corner by now. Last but not least, guys, we have consistency. Now consistency is the difference between the grand champions and the pros. The players that can play at their best potential 100% of the time, or 95% of the time. They do have their off days, but consistency simply comes down to understanding all the different things in this video, everything we've already mentioned before, and practicing them to a point where you can apply them to your gameplay almost 100% of the time. Obviously, you're going to miss every now and then, you're going to have a few hiccups in your gameplay, but when it comes down to it, guys, you need to understand all the different things you can do with the car so that you can adapt and change to all the different things you can't control that the ball does and what your opponent does. And this really just does come down to time, experience, and practice. Putting in as much practice as you can. Always warm up before you go on as well. Before you play ranked games, before you play any games, I like to jump into free play. Then I do a few training packs just to get myself warmed up. But every time I do this, it is improving my basic mechanics. It is improving the mechanics I train in that day, whether it's dribbling, air dribbles, ceiling shots, whatever I go for. But at the end of the day, it is that training before I go on, and even that training while I'm playing in between games, that is going to keep me consistent. I'm constantly trying to train my mechanics, trying to help myself get better at this game, and always push myself to improve. So as long as you're practicing as much as you can, or going to free play for at least 20 minutes a day, you're going to see consistent improvements through your game, which will keep you consistent in the long run. This video has turned out to be a lot longer than I expected. I thought it was going to be about a 4-minute video, but we've hit the 9-minute mark now. Anyways, that is everything for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to keep updated with any future content. Otherwise, that is everything for me today. I'll see you next time.